Mark Abrams here in Philadelphia. Let's go out to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I have former title contender and current trainer BJ Flores and actress Kendra Lust, who we're here to talk about some boxing. BJ, what's going on?
Hey, everything's good, brother. Just been out in Vegas probably about 7 or 8 days now, staying at the Cosmopolitan Hotel, my favorite spot in Vegas. Having a great time, just kind of relaxing after a nice long 4-month camp with Jake, and looking forward to seeing what's next.
So obviously you mentioned with Jake, and obviously you're talking about Jake Paul, the big knockout victor over Ben Askren about 2 weeks ago. Talk about that. Talk about that whole experience.
It's exactly what I expected. I think I told everybody the fight wasn't going to go 2 rounds. The fight went 1 round.
We lost your volume, BJ. We're gonna get her back. Hold on. We'll get BJ and Kendra back. I know, BJ. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. We lost your volume. BJ, you must have hit. We lost your volume. Let's see here. We might have to start this again. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get them back on. Everyone who's watching, we have a ton of people who are watching. I know that. We're gonna get them back on. Log out, log back on if you can. We'll get them back in a second. BJ Flores and Kendra Lust, who are in Las Vegas. We'll get them back on in a second. As BJ, who was training. Do we hear you, BJ? I don't think so. It's definitely BJ because my things were working perfectly. Did someone mess around with the controls here? Yeah, one more minute. We'll try this again. Have some volume issues. Can't hear you. Let me text them and tell them that we can't hear you. I'll be right back on. Just see if BJ and Kendra can get back on here. This was going so well, too. We have a ton of people on, and we'll let everyone ask all their questions that they need to ask once we get BJ and Kendra back on. It should be any second now. That's what happens when you do these things live. One minute. Let me put this on pause. Let me see if I can pause this, and then we'll be right back. I'm going to tell BJ to log back on. I mean, we heard them fine. Anyway, we got a big weekend of boxing coming up. Michael Conlon I'm watching. He just won a majority decision over Inu Baluta. So hold on. Let me. We're gonna log back on. I'm gonna try to do it maybe from a Zoom. So just stay right where you're at.
good now.
Now I hear that.
Anything else I can do for you?
Okay, now we're good. I think, and this is even better than before.
Yeah, way better.
I think so.
Where were we?
Where were we? So being with Jake Paul and everything. Talk about that. With that experience with Jake Paul and the knockout over Ben Askren.
Good fight, good experience for Jake. Another opportunity for him to be underneath the bright lights with over a million views, a million buys on the fight. And these are all like stepping stones that he needs to learn how to take and learn how to deal with in order to move on to the next stage of his career. So I thought he handled it very well, very professionally. I knew that Ben didn't have a chance in the fight. With what I've seen with Jake over the last 300 rounds of sparring with many good professionals over the last 20 months, I knew that Ben wasn't going to be able to be competitive in the fight. And Jake went out and showed just a little small piece of what he's been working on over the last 20 months. So there's a lot more to come.
Kendra, you watched the fight. What were your thoughts on the whole Jake Paul and you got these YouTube stars becoming professional boxers? What are your thoughts on it?
I neglected to realize how talented Jake Paul actually was. I know Ben Askren is, he is a wrestler by nature. I mean, he's won championships being a wrestler. So I knew his ground game was strong. I thought, in all honesty, that Ben might be able to pull off the win. However, I'll be honest, Jake surprised me, so it was great. It was incredible.
So you actually thought Ben could have maybe would have won?
I did. I thought, even though he was had a wrestling background, that, knowing that he's going to fight Jake, he would, work on his striking a little bit more. And I'm sure he did, but it just showed that Jake Paul, he's been putting in work behind the scenes and he showed everybody what he was made of. So kudos to him.
First of all, that's great analysis. And BJ, you're letting her sit next to you, even though she thought your adversary was going to win the fight?
That's all right. She's just getting into boxing. She's getting into MMA. She's a big fan of it. She's, people have their opinions before. And now she learned, like millions of other people learned, that Jake's nobody to mess around with. So he's a real guy, and you better get ready for him, or you'll get knocked the fuck out. And that's no question about it. So
this is a family show here. You guys easy on the language. So talk about Kendra. Talk about obviously he said you're getting into the boxing and MMA. You've done some commentary, I know, down in Florida for some action. Where did this love affair with the boxing and MMA combat sports, where did that begin?
I love that question. I have always been a fan of boxing. I love combat sports. And over the last 3 years, I've had people that are very important to me get involved in boxing. And for me, if the people that I love are passionate about something, I want to learn, know, and be a part of that. So, for me, it's time for me to do my homework. I love it. I have so much respect for boxing, first and foremost. It is a science, a true science. I absolutely love it. MMA, obviously incorporates that as well as other types of mixed martial arts. So for me, it's kind of close to home. So I'm all in now.
How long? You say you've been following for a while. Like how long? Do you have some favorite fighters that you've been watching over the years?
So as far as, boxing goes, I remember watching, Mike Tyson back in the days when he was the heavyweight champ. And, now my interest is Canelo Alvarez. He piques my interest. Bud Crawford, Ryan Garcia, which is Alvarez's protege. So, there's a lot of up-and-comers. There's a lot of work for me still to do. And I know I'm green at this. However, mark my words, I will be one of the most knowledgeable, hostesses, analysts, female that there is. I'm all in right now. I'm ready.
You mentioned Canelo Alvarez next Saturday night. He's facing Billy Joe Saunders. 70-something thousand people expected in Dallas at Cowboy Stadium. What are your thoughts on the fight? Obviously, you know about Canelo and Saunders. You have a breakdown of that fight?
Yes. I'm really glad you asked that. And I think a lot of people are wondering about that, how the fight's going to go. So Billy Joe Saunders, former Olympian. He comes from a fighting family. His great-grandfather was a bare-knuckle champion. He's held 2 world titles in 2 different weight classes. Okay, very confident. I really think that him going into this fight, in all honesty, I think that he thinks that he's the A-list fighter. So, yes, definitely A-side fighter. So, I like that about him. He's 30-0, undefeated. In my opinion, Canelo Alvarez is the best pound for pound boxer right now. He fought in November, against Callum Smith, in February, and then now he's going to be fighting Saunders this weekend, and he's already planning a fight in September, against Caleb. So, he's already kind of looking ahead, which makes me think, is he looking past this fight with Saunders? I don't know. Is he underestimating him? I'm excited to see how it goes. And if you remember, Alvarez in 2014, he fought Lara, who was a very tricky southpaw.
He's fighting again tomorrow night.
Yes, and Billy Joe Saunders, also a very talented southpaw, good boxer. So is that going to cause a problem for Alvarez? We will see. I'm very interested to see.
Mark, those were some great comparisons. That was fire. That was amazing.
BJ, we don't need you. Leave. We only need her to talk boxing. That was some great analysis.
Fire.
You obviously you have a massive following, 1.2 million Twitter followers, only 6 million Instagram followers. Is this some of the stuff that you're now gonna maybe preach to your followers in terms of your knowledge of boxing and also MMA, I guess, as well?
For me, I'm passionate about this, and I'm ready to take on a new endeavor, and I'm ready to put in the work and earn the respect and put in the time. I've done it before. I can do it again. And I love it. Much respect to the entire MMA mixed martial arts, but especially boxing. It's near and dear to me. So
I have a question, and I'm not trying to, it's an honest question. Obviously, the industry that you're known for, you obviously you just displayed that you have the knowledge. How difficult is it going to be for you to, kind of get the respect from people that that you're not just someone just to be seen at the fights or
Absolutely, and I understand that. What people do is not who they are, and I, in all honesty, I don't feel like I have to prove something. It's more about proving to myself, because this is something I'm passionate about, and this is something that I love. So it's a win-win for me. I love this. I want to know everything there is about it. And this is, I don't want to say it's more about me, but I'm just ready for something different, something new.
You just heard the knowledge, Mark. What are the questions you possibly have?
No, I got plenty of questions, BJ. You know I'm always prepared. Tomorrow night there's a big fight down in California. Yeah. Two quality Mexican heavyweights. Andy Ruiz Jr., the former heavyweight champion of the world, taking on Chris Arreola. You have a thought on that?
Yeah, I do have
not you, her.
Okay. All right, it's me.
All right, back to her.
Okay, so this is going to be very interesting.
Hold on one second. BJ, you're just there for the eye candy.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling him, right? So these are two Mexican heavyweights. This is going to be incredible. And looking at Andy Ruiz, he had the loss in 2019 to Anthony Joshua. Now he is fighting, he is training with, Eddie Reynosa, who is also with Canelo. So, he looks great. His hand speed, he's sharp. He looks in the best shape ever. So I really feel that he wants to show the world that he's serious, he's ready, he's going back to the drawing board. However, Chris Arreola, he's no chump, He's a veteran fighter. He's a very, very tough boxer. He's fought against Deontay Wilder. So, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I feel like everybody wants to see what's going to happen and the improvements that Ruiz has made in this fight camp. So,
you have anything to add, BJ?
No, she pretty much covered it all. The question isn't if Ruiz is going to win, but how Ruiz wins and when he wins and how he looks to win it. So, Kendra covered a lot of good points with that.
What's your prediction?
whenever you go back to the drawing board and you change your entire team, you know that certain changes need to be made, and that's what he did after he got up to 283 pounds in the fight with Joshua, 268 in the first fight. I'm betting that he'll come in under 255 for this fight, but either way, the body mass index is completely different for Andy Ruiz right now. You see in the warm-ups, you see in the stuff, the videos they're taking of him, this guy looks like a different guy. I mean, who is this guy? And with the hand speed, the inside fighting, I don't see how Andy Ruiz has been able to get by Chris Arreola, and that's no disrespect to Chris. He's a good fighter, but
well, thank God you didn't bet on his weight. He came in at 256.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
So it was right there.
Yeah.
Ariel was 228.6.
Man, Joe Goosens got him in shape. That might be a little light for Arreola. I remember I used to see Arreola at 240, 245, and he gave people a lot of trouble. Sometimes with heavyweights, especially later in their career, as they try to go down in weight, that's not always good. But I hope whatever's best for him. But I just what I've seen in my career is whenever heavyweights that are older, they come down in weight, it doesn't work out as well.
So Kendra, what other boxing, on the horizon are you looking for in the sweet signs down the road the next 6 months? What fights you want to see?
Oh, gosh. I mean, there's a ton. I mean, I'd love to see Tyson Fury. I don't know what's up next for him, but
We're trying to get it from Joshua.
Yeah, I love him. Absolutely. He's a gypsy as well, which I love that. Yes, absolutely. And he's got the backing. Tyson Fury is backing Billy Joe Saunders,
they're cousins.
Yes. So, who knows? But I'm very intrigued. In all honesty, this Canelo fight, I cannot wait for it.
It's got all our attention, Mark.
That is like what I'm honed in on. So
should be a great fight next week. BJ, got any inside scoop of what your man Jake Paul may be doing next?
I do, but I'm not going to say yet. So we just got to leave it at that until we're ready to make an announcement. But it's going to be an exciting fight, and it's going to be a fight where a lot of people aren't going to think he's going to win, and that's what we want. And we're just going to go out and do what we do. So,
okay, let me ask you a question. If I say the genre, would you say yes or no?
No.
He's good. You know what? There's a reason you are.
Why do I feel Kendra knows?
Because she does.
I don't know anything. I see no hear evil. I hear no evil.
A couple names I like, Mark, just to kill the elephant in the room here. I like Tommy Fury. I like Nate Diaz. I like Nick Diaz. I like Tyron Woodley. Yeah, I like those four names. I like those guys. And there's some other names being mentioned too, but I feel like those are the four names that one of those kind of guys would be a fight that I'd like to see Jake take next. Be good.
It won't be Daniel Cormier though.
He's out of his weight bracket, and
big time.
Just let the champ do what he's doing, and leave him alone. And we're not going to fight him in the cage, so I don't think he has any interest in fighting Jake in the boxing ring. And that's
I don't know why Daniel Cormier had pretty good. I mean, obviously he's an unbelievable wrestler.
Yeah.
He didn't have a bad stand-up game. Why wouldn't he want to fight him in a boxing ring?
I don't know. You can ask him that. I can't answer that question, but I just feel like
he said he would get down to 205 pounds. And what's Jake, about 192?
Yeah, Jake's like 190, but Daniel's about 260 right now, 250.
Yeah.
He ain't coming down to Job Mendez just told me yesterday he's probably about 255, 260 now, BJ. So I doubt he's coming down to 205 to fight Jake, and I doubt we're going to fight Daniel at 225 or 230. Regardless, this doesn't make sense.
Kendra, what's that say about Jake? You got professional boxers want to fight him, professional MMA fighters want to fight him, actors, YouTubers. I think I'm the one. Me and BJ are probably the only two people who don't want to fight him.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Let's be real. Like, I'm a lover. I mean, I'll take care of you, former nurse. Okay, so yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great, and I'll be honest. I told I was a little skeptical, professional, but you know what?
Ben, so.
I did, and then I saw Ben kind of hitting the bag with Jake's face on it, and I thought, I don't know. But
it looks right, doesn't it?
I was just like, I don't know about that, Yeah. However, I feel like you work hard in silence, and your success shows, right, when it's time. So, I was completely wrong in underestimating against that. I think, he's building hype. He's hot right now, and he's getting everyone in mixed martial arts, attention. So, you know what? Kudos to him. He's doing it right. You love him or hate him, but you know him.
Absolutely, and we haven't talked about UFC. Obviously, you're a fan of that as well. What are your favorite? You got some favorite UFC fighters, some big fights?
Yes, 100%. I'm so glad you asked me that because, it's not only UFC, it's Bellator too. You know, I think people underestimate the Bellator fighters because we've had some Bellator fighters come over or from UFC come to Bellator and vice versa. So, you know, Michael Chandler, you know, Chris Cyborg, I can go on and on. However, Juan Archuleta has a big fight coming up this weekend in Connecticut. Okay, he's defending his belt. So Juan is a friend of mine. We've hung out in my basement, which is kind of cool. Okay, I've got some cool stuff down there. And we've done shots and had a great time. He's a great human, very talented fighter. Looking forward to supporting him this weekend. Misha Tate's making her comeback July 17th here in Greenville. I don't know if it's going to be in Vegas, but yes, it is in Vegas because the tickets are not on sale. I looked. Excited for her comeback. I mean,
so you go to a lot of the fights then?
I go to as many as I can to learn as much as I can.
That's a fan.
Yes, and then Julian Marquez. He was off. He's my co-host on Beauty and the Beast podcast, and he was off for about 31 months. He has come back and won his last 2 fights. So he was on the up and coming before that injury. So mark my words, watch out for Julian, the Cuban Missile, Marquez. He is going to be definitely doing great things, and I love it. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. He's putting in the work, he's improving. He's fire.
So you do a podcast with an MMA fighter. So I guess so I guess you gain a lot of knowledge right there.
I'm learning a lot. You know, he's learning a lot about me. I'm learning a lot about him, and you know, and this over the next month, we are really going to be focusing in on our demographic and getting some guests on. So I'm excited for what is the rest of 2021.
Well, don't bring BJ on that podcast because he may fight you to see who the beauty part is.
Well, you know what? I lost my ego along with a lot of things years ago, so I'm fine with that.
I've been friends with BJ 20 years, so I'm allowed to. I told BJ the day I stopped kidding around with him is the day I don't like him anymore. So
I love that, right? It's like best friends. You got to be able to bust their chops, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So you just plugged the podcast. Anything else out there that you're looking to plug?
I mean, you can follow us on social media. I'm Kendra Lust on Twitter, Instagram, and the rest is you let the champ.
One other question. Obviously, you're doing the podcast. What other kind of combat sports media are you in? And you do the hosting of the fights down in Florida, in Miami specifically. What other type of combat sports media are you looking to kind of get into?
You know, as much as I can become a part of. You know, with all respect, I know. I'm still kind of getting my feet wet, but I'm willing to put in the work and earn the respect of the fight community, and I'm serious, so I'm ready.
There you go. BJ, you got any final words?
No, that's it. I think it was great. Thanks so much for having us on.
It was my pleasure, and best of luck. And we'll be seeing Kendra. We'll be seeing BJ in the corner of Jake Paul. Any other fighters that you're currently working with?
No, that's it. Michael Hunter is going to be. He's got a big fight coming up, probably June 6th. He's fighting on the Triller card, and they'd mentioned his name to me, but I didn't have time at the moment. But he's a great fider, and he's a good friend of mine. I wish I could work with him, but maybe something down the road. But Jake's a good fighter right now. That's all I'm really worried about.
I was going to ask if any fighters are watching, any fighters of note who are maybe looking for a trainer. I mean, are you looking to take anyone else on? No?
I'm not. No, I'm good. Got a busy schedule right now.
Well, enjoy the beautiful Cosmopolitan Hotel and Casino out in Las Vegas. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there soon. And thank you guys for taking a few minutes out of your day and speaking with us. And I look forward to having both you back on soon.
No problem. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
My pleasure.